You're listening to the Group Chat Podcast.
Good evening. We are live here. It is the Group Chat Podcast. We are live on all of our social media platforms. I am Casey Gisler. This is Nick Hebert. This is Damian St. Pierre. Hope everybody is doing well. We are rocking and rolling, ripping and roaring. We've got a fun show coming your way today, celebrating the 4th of July. Got a bunch of different topics. It's going to be a little light on the sports today, I ain't going to lie, because guess what? There's really not shit going on. So we're going to have a little fun. We're going to expand our horizons a little bit. Yeah, we're going to get a bunch of stuff covered. So, boys, before we dive right into it, you know how it works. How we doing today? How's everything going?
Doing good today, man. Yeah, half a day off of work today, and
so you were flustered last Wednesday.
Yeah, because I didn't eat, and if you didn't see. So we did have audio. We just had everything muted because we were bullshitting and waiting for everybody to jump on. During that time, I was eating some gummy worms, so I wasn't as feisty as I was last weekend.
Good.
I got some golf in today, man. Took a half a day off of work, got some golf in. I don't think that could be a bad day.
I don't want to break your big news on the air, but I wanted to do it, but heard you shot pretty well.
Yeah, finally broke 100. Yeah. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
But I owe myself like $3,000. Because I promised myself.
You lost yourself with that?
I promised myself I would buy new clubs after I broke 100. And Aaron and I went play yesterday, and we just kind of shot around, and I ended up shooting probably better than I did today, but we didn't finish.
Right whenever you start killing it with the clubs you have now, you're going to change? How does that work?
That's a good point.
It's like whenever Tiger Woods made a swing change in the middle of his prime and everybody started flipping out like, dude, what are you doing? Same question I got for you, sir. What are you doing?
I don't know. I started out a golfing career with some really cheap clubs, and I mean, it was semi-brand new. I think that was just kind of the bottom of the line of the club, so I just want to make some upgrades, man. Make an upgrade in my game. Got to make an upgrade in my clubs, too.
Nothing wrong with that, dude. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mr. Nick Hebert, how are we doing today? First and foremost, before we get that answer, thanks so much for the swag, dude. We got some 4th of July DTB-made Group Chat Podcast gear.
Feeling festive today. We got red, white, and Damian has a blue shirt that we didn't put on.
I got Young Thunder on today.
There's not much of a more patriotic tag team in wrestling than Young Thunder.
Hell yeah. I got a request in the chat.
Already?
Yeah, from Renee.
What's up? Get it out of the way. You spent a little time in the principal's office this weekend at AAU. Go ahead and tell the story.
So it's not that much of a story to tell. Everything went swell, using the Mike Brady term, on Saturday. There was no conflict with any official, any director, or anything. Everything went smooth. And we drew the first game of the day, which was at 9 o'clock. And one of the officials was late by about 20 minutes. And the gentleman that was there, I said, hey, bro, I mean, we got up early to come play here, right? We got about a 90-minute drive. And I would like to play at the scheduled time. I said, I'm good with you going. The guy seemed very professional. I'd never seen him before. And then one of the people walked in about 20 minutes late and made a terrible call. And I did say at the beginning that maybe if you would have been here on time that we would have been okay. But
that doesn't warrant anything.
But that didn't even give me a technical. And I didn't even say it really loud. I just kind of said it to my bench. And then I don't know exactly what I said to get the first one. And the second one, I was sitting down. There was a travel call. Instinctively, I just said the word travel. And I'll show the video later.
It's very
underwhelming. It's very underwhelming.
Yeah, I saw the video. You didn't.
But the concerning thing was, and look, I definitely turned a negative into a positive. But the concerning thing was the lady who seemed like a very nice person. I'm not judgy.
Yes, you started laughing.
Sometimes I got to tee it up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, look, that's kind of the problem with the world today is that everybody's soft. So she turns to my bench full of 6th grade kids and says, that's what's wrong with the world today is white people. So I was like, hey, you know what? You go ahead and have that battle with yourself. And talking to the director, I was like, do I need to go outside? He's like, no, coach, just stay in the hall. You're not mad or anything. I said, no, I didn't even raise my voice. I said, well, can I do something? I said, my ADHD will not allow me to just sit here. Awesome lady at the table. Her name's Siobhan. She said, why don't you come do the bracelets with me? So I sat there for 3 hours, and I gave out bracelets to people walking in, and had some really good conversation. The lady showed me a video of her throwing the first pitch at LSU softball game. She's involved with this big nationwide company. Very intelligent lady. And she was pumped up that I put that on Facebook.
Yeah, you made a friend, dude. That's really cool. Yeah, I'll say this. I was watching some of the game live, thanks to Kimberly Terrebonne for sharing some of that live. And it was the game after you got ejected. And I was watching, and I immediately said, if these were the same officials as earlier, I already know which one threw them out. Because you could just see out of the crew who's the bad official and who's not. I'm going to leave it at that.
You could make that call by the work ethic.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if there's only one referee in the half-court shot, you could understand that. There's some great officials that work their tail off. Everybody makes mistakes. Coaches make mistakes, players make mistakes, officials make mistakes, directors make mistakes. But if you're not trying, people see that, and it's hard for them to give you the benefit of the doubt. But it was the same officials the whole day. And and look, credit to my 8th grade squad. We won the tournament. We're sitting at like 18-5 in the season or something like that.
Legit.
Or 18-7, something like that. We've yet to put together a full game. So I challenged them on Sunday. I said, look, it's probably the last time we're getting together this year. Let's put 30 minutes together because it was a 30-minute game. And they really did that in the semifinal game because we ended up getting a bye. And then in the finals, they really, really turned it on. And it was some old school Lady Flash basketball that I was pretty pumped up to be a part of.
Love to hear it. And I got to tell you, I had a chance to speak with Coach Kathy Luke recently. A lot of the kids on that 8th grade team are going to be playing varsity next year in blue. She's very high on a lot of those kids and looking forward to seeing it.
So Tyrus has a question. And this is legit because apparently this happened. I didn't see it. If you shoot the technical fouls in the wrong goal, who gets the point?
I mean, I don't think that's the same as making a layup in the wrong goal. There, you just the referee just being an idiot and positioning them in the wrong goal. I know this, and I learned this recently. Did you guys know that no matter what, like if you shoot a half-court shot, a three-pointer in the wrong goal, it's 2 points no matter what. You can't make a three-pointer in the wrong goal. Did y'all know that?
No, but that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, so like if you shoot a three-pointer at the wrong basket and it goes in, you're not giving the other team 3 points. You're giving them 2 points, no matter what.
There was some athlete that said he plays in men's, like some NBA stud who might have retired recently, that plays in men's league games and says that his team will just go into a men's league tournament and just destroy everybody.
Jason Williams.
Yes, it was Jason Williams. And if the other team starts getting pissed off that they're doing that, they'll just inbound the ball and Jason Williams just knock down a three on their goal and just keep on doing that. I'm sure to get pissed off.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I would be.
I would imagine
I got another rules question for the panel here.
What's up?
Can you get a 5-second closely guarded violation in your own backcourt?
That one, I don't know. That one, we may have to summon some of our buddies. Oh, you know the answer. Yeah. I would say no, but I really don't know.
I don't know.
So think about it. You got 10 seconds to break the half court line, right? So there should be no 5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't believe so. Yeah.
So the Bible of officiating.
I've never seen a referee even start counting that. I mean, you're counting that you have 10 seconds to get across the half court, but I've never seen a referee specifically count that.
So I was refereeing a game with an official that really, 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 really knows the rule book.
Greg.
And there was a timeout call because the coach was getting nervous that they were at 10 seconds or whatnot. And he said, I thought you was about to call a 5-second call. And I said, I thought about it, but then realized you got 10 seconds to cross the half-court line. And he said, that's the rule.
Huh.
So fast forward a year later, a couple weeks ago, a referee calls a 5-second violation in the backcourt. And it wasn't against me. It was just a game I was watching. I said, ref, look, I am a 1,000% rules buff. I like to know every rule that I could manage to make my way. And I said, I don't think that's the right call to make that 5-second call. He said, man, I never thought about that. He said, let me go ask my head official. He comes back in 5 minutes and says, Coach, you was right. He said, there's no 5-second call in the backcourt, which makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Nick, you're a resident soccer guy. Are we going to win this tournament or what?
We usually do. This is the Gold Cup, CONCACAF Gold Cup. We usually win this. We usually get Mexico in the finals, and Mexico is in the other semifinal. So if we win this and Mexico wins their match, then it's going to be a USA-Mexico final, as always.
So I know a lot of this is regionalized, like us, Mexico, we were playing Costa Rica, now Guatemala. There's like some random ass, like I saw Saudi Arabia was like, how do we get some of those teams in there?
Before the last World Cup, I remember Qatar was in the CONCACAF World Cup, and I was like, what the hell is that? If you're hosting and you don't have a group that you play in, we have CONCACAF, I guess you get to play him, but I have no idea why Saudi Arabia and those other teams were in this one.
Which of these is unlike the other? Well, let's talk about some fighting to lead things off. We had the big boxing weekend. We were talking about that a lot last show. And it came and it went, and it kind of came with a whimper. Deontay Wilder does get his knockout win. Didn't look very good doing it. Got it, I believe, in the 7th or 8th round. Didn't throw a whole lot. It was never in any danger, but he was fighting a refrigerator. I mean, it was somebody that could not hurt him. And Wilder, frankly, in his prime, would have gotten out of this earlier. Gentlemen, I left this fight, and I even told you guys this in our actual group chat. I'm done with it. I don't think Wilder's any good anymore. He's old. He just doesn't seem interested in being that big haymaker throwing, hard puncher anymore. Guy just needs to retire, man. Like, he fought a tomato can and needed almost every bit of 10 rounds to get him out of there.
So I edited very late this week for our last week's episode, the cleanup version that we post on social media, Spotify, Apple Music, Podbean, and all those great sites that deal with us. And we could not have, well, I'm not saying we, some of us on this panel could not have been more wrong about how that fight was going to go and what levels that people were at. I thought we did a good job of the post-fight coverage on that. That article,
yeah, it was
pretty good. I only saw the knockout. I didn't get a chance to watch, but I did look at the stats, and some of the punch landings in some of those rounds were at 0. So I can't imagine that would have been much of an entertaining fight. The fact that Wilder is just pretty much not doing anything in the ring compared to what he used to do, just get folks out against a mid-level competition kind of guy like Terrell Herndon, doesn't speak very highly of him. But unfortunately, he's going to be back in action, Case, and I'm just hoping that he doesn't get hurt because he's rumored to be in line with some folks that could probably do some damage.
I left this. Look, we had talked about this on Play-by-Play recently and how he and his team were hoping to maybe someday get a Jake Paul fight. I left this thinking I don't even know if he could beat Jake Paul anymore. He doesn't throw. Look, I know he's got the power, and we all say, oh, if he connects with Jake Paul, he's going to knock him out. He doesn't throw enough. I don't know that he would even connect. I don't think he would throw enough punches.
I think Jake Paul was in with somebody on Saturday night that didn't throw enough punches as well.
Get to that, yeah.
Seeing Jake Paul Saturday night really let me know what level he's on, and it's not that high.
It's really not, yeah.
But I don't think that fight's going to happen because I don't think Jake Paul is going to go up to heavyweight, especially, I mean, what Wilder's
225 at this last fight.
I don't think he's going up that much just because, I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the dude's ranked in the freaking WBC cruiserweight rankings, and it's going to be hard for him to take a zany type of fight.
Yeah. Nick, we talked last week, and you said, Herndon's and tomato cans going to be over in round 1, whatever it may be. For whatever reason, Wilder just didn't want to throw hands. He didn't want to get him out of the ring. Now, he did knock him down in rounds 2 and round 6. He was in total control of the fight. But this is a fight that should have been a 4-minute fight or a 2.5-minute fight and ended up being a 7-round fight.
About 2 months ago, we had a big fight weekend, and every fight was a dud because of the lack of punch output. And this weekend, last weekend, we had 2 big major fights. Well, the Wilder fight wasn't a major fight, but it was still a pretty big fight. Same thing, lack of punch output. What is going on in boxing that people just aren't punching? Cesar Chavez Jr., didn't he just not land a punch around, or was it in the Wilder fight?
Yeah, I could tell you that Chavez landed 60 punches in the entire fight, and 30 of them were in the last 3 rounds.
That guy is a Valium puncher, and he's just not throwing punches.
But is he being told to not throw punches?
Is he being paid to not?
Yeah.
Let's focus on the positivity of this weekend. The undercard for Jake Paul Chavez was really good. They had some really good fights. They showcased a lot of really good and upcoming talent. Holly Holm was victorious in her comeback.
Beat the shit out of the girl she was fighting.
And she mentioned in the post-fight interview saying that she was happy that she went 10 rounds just to show herself that she could do it again. And look, the lady that she fought, Yolanda Ochoa, was undefeated. That was her first defeat. And Holly Holm says, I'm not taking any tune-ups. It's go time for me. I don't have that much time left. Not that she's dying. So look for her to make some noise. She's going to be ranked. She's got the skins on the wall, and she'll be ranked and challenged for a world title coming up soon.
Boys, not to shift too far off of boxing, we will get to the Jake Paul fight in just a second, but Brian Kelly, let's go, baby. LSU just gets a 5-star commitment from Trendon Henderson, the number 28 player in the country, an edge rusher from Pensacola, Florida, has just given his pledge to LSU, choosing the Tigers over Alabama and Georgia. Suck at Alabama, suck at Georgia. Trendon Henderson, we hope, is going to be going back.
I don't believe any of that until they step on campus.
Can't wait to see him and Brian Kelly on like this little TikTok spinning thing.
28 player in the country, edge rusher, Pensacola, Florida, committed to LSU. I say committed. Again, things change.
Oh, that Tiger.
My guy on the sauce again.
Yes. Has he ever got off?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. He's said he's an addict. He said when he was at LSU, he hadn't drank in 12 years or whatever, and he was a Red Bull guy.
If you go to our Facebook page, you can see a TikTok share of him absolutely having a fantastic time at a wedding on the North Shore, ripped his shirt off. It was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Does a guy like that need alcohol to have that much fun, being that he's rumored to have ripped his shirt off and going through tables and locker rooms? Maybe not. 80% of folks from down and by are alcoholics. Like, that's just one of our things. I say I'm included.
Look, I was recently diagnosed with fatty liver disease, and look, it's not nearly as treacherous as it sounds. Just got to lose a little bit of weight. Dr. Veg told me, he's like, dude, don't feel bad. Literally everyone here has that. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, just look what we eat, look what we drink. You are one of
vaccine.
Well, yeah, maybe that too. But you are one of many, many in this community. But to the point, like, okay, so Coach O spoke as he was doing it, and he said, go Tigers, roll away. He wasn't slurring. Like, I don't know that he was drinking per se. I think this is who he is.
Dude got hyped up energy 24/7. So I'm not. I said yes emphatically, but at the end of the day, the dude knows how to party without any enhancing substances.
The Last Dance was, I think, one of the best sports documentaries that's ever been created. I would love, and I know we'll never get it because the locker room wasn't wired up that way, but I would have loved to have seen 2019 LSU football, Last Dance style, everything. But because there are a lot of very reliable sources who say Coach Orgeron put one of his coordinators through a table before the Alabama game. I mean, can you imagine seeing and getting 24/7 access to that? Like, that must have been one of these days. Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase, somebody's going to release a podcast. Somebody's going to get some of those stories out. That must have been a movie every single Saturday.
I've been in locker rooms with coaches before that I felt like I was about to go through the table.
Yes.
Speaking of, congrats, Coach Kyle, on being a grandpa, and congrats on having me rethink my life, thinking I was going assistant coach somewhere.
He started it again today. I don't know, or yesterday. I don't know if you heard.
I didn't get to hear.
He was saying, he was like, I told him the story about, how he had, bamboozled everybody and thinking that he was coaching again. And then as soon as I got finished, he was like, my phone's ringing. And it was, but he played it off perfectly. He was like, I'm going to have to call Coach Pop later. I was like, what you mean, Coach Pop? Then I put two and two together. Central's girls' job is open and available right now. He's pretending like he's not at all interviewing for that job, but my guy is playing it off beautifully, like he's interviewing for every job that's out there. And
goes to show you how much I respect the guy and how much I enjoy working for him. I was ready to reroute everything to go coach with that dude again if I was asked to do that.
No doubt. Let's talk about Jake Paul now. I watched the fight. I was never a big, like, oh, bro, this is fixed dude. I didn't think that the Tyson fight necessarily was fixed. I think Mike Tyson's just old. You would be hard-pressed to convince me that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was not given a stipend to not punch. Because, as you said earlier, Damian, the first 7-8 rounds, he stood there and did nothing. And then in the last couple rounds, once he realized, all right, I lost, he started throwing and actually boxing and started winning rounds. There's no way you could convince me that fight was not fixed on Saturday. And on top of that, there's no way that you could convince me that Jake Paul's anywhere even near the elite of the sport. He looked like he was about to die at the end of the fight. He was so gassed, fighting a guy who wasn't even fighting back. So all this talk of, oh, man, I want to fight Canelo. Canelo would kill you, Jake Paul. Literally kill you. You do not want that smoke, brother. you better be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it and it won't be very good for you and your brand.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate that I like to do, and I'm pretty good at it. Chavez Jr. has historically been out of condition, and I think we might have hit on this on play-by-play on Friday. I think he didn't have the conditioning because he probably trained at L'Esprit, and he knew that in the back of his mind. So that's the only reason that I could think of that he didn't start fighting until the end. And the last 4 rounds pretty much figured out that he could go 4 rounds in his sleep and that he could almost get this guy out of there.
Nick, I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you didn't see it. There wasn't much to see, man. It wasn't good. Yeah, Jake Paul beat him. But, I mean, he's fighting a dude who wasn't punching. It's like fighting a punching bag, literally, until the last 2 rounds. And then whenever the guy started fighting back, Jake Paul looked like he was almost in a coma. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't breathe. He was gassing out. To the point to where, honestly, I think if the fight would have went 12, I think he would have got stopped. I think that Chavez Jr. would have stopped him. What did you make of it?
So another Jake Paul fight with low punch output. Allegedly, they're putting it in the contract, or maybe just not actually in the contract, just like a little incentive if you don't punch. Allegedly, that could be happening. And if it is, when he fights Canelo, what if it's the same thing? Every time we go into a Jake Paul fight, I'm like, there's no way Jake Paul is going to beat this guy. And he ends up beating him in a slow, boring fight with just like a looping overhand right or something that knocks the guy out, or he barely wins on points and he barely finishes. Maybe there's a little something going on with that. Allegedly.
The only counter that I would have to that's our first allegedly of the show. The only counter I would have to that is everybody that he's fought so far knew that they only had 1 payday left. Canelo, I don't think, would need to do that. I think, honestly, Canelo would be Jake Paul's last payday. I think that Jake Paul would know, hey, this is me pushing all my poker chips in. I'm going to lose the hand, but I'm going to make $400 million while doing it. I guess that'd be the only thing I'd have to say to the contrary of that. But, we'll see how it goes.
So Jake Paul entered the WBA rankings at number 14, and being in the top 15 allows you to be eligible for a world title fight. The WBA champion right now is Gilberto Ramirez, or Ramirez, depending on where you're from. He fought on Jake Paul's undercard. So how does that all line up? I guess we'll see. Ramirez is a big guy with a high output of punches, and this guy can go. He was also rumored to be facing WBC top, I don't think he's the champion, but I think he's in the top 10, Badou Jack. And Badou Jack said, line him up, it'll be the easiest payday of my life.
Badou Jack, I think, is a little more of a big name than the other guy. We've seen a lot of him, 29-3-3. He would, assuming there's no shenanigans.
So look, Ramirez is
right.
stacked.
Yeah,
his only loss is to Dimitri Bivol, who gave Canelo some rounds, and that was at 174 pounds. He's gotten bigger. He's grown into his body. He looks the part. And he holds a record of 48 wins with 1 loss, and 30 of those wins by knockout.
Let me ask you guys both this question. The next Jake Paul fight, whenever it is, wherever it is, another 40-something-year-old MMA, old boxer tomato can, or is he going to actually put it on the table?
He's got to fight somebody. If his goal is to have a title fight, there's no way he would be leveraging for a ranking, which he has been, to not want to do that. I think a lot of his team is telling him that's not what he's ready for, because I really think they found that out on Saturday night.
Yeah.
But, and look, Logan Paul even said, everybody but him thinks that he's not ready. But he made a good point. He's 12-1. There's not many fighters that are 12-1 that have the resume that Jake Paul has. At the end of the day, hate him or love him, the guy's done well for himself. And with his limited skill set, he's done extremely well for himself.
Nick, the next fight, legit or like Roy Jones Jr.?
Probably another fight against, like a Roy Jones Jr. or somebody just that was awesome in the 90s that he's just going to get a payday off of by punching 30 times a fight. And just, if he fights that Badou Jack guy, he's getting destroyed. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. I was looking at some of the wins on this guy's record. If he fights that guy, it's not going to be pretty.
Split decision loss against Jean Pascal, beat Lucien Boutet, draw with Adonis Stevenson. He's a little older now. He's 41, but I don't think it matters. He's a guy who's still active. He fought in 2025, fought a couple weeks ago. Yeah, if he does take that next step up in class, it'll be very interesting to see what's next for Mr. Paul for sure. I think it's interesting you guys bring up his team doesn't want him to do this. You guys were in the promoting game. Who gets the final say? Like, okay, if I'm just making a complete example out of thin air, if back in the day you guys had a guy who was 10-10 lined up for Zane, just kind of a stay warm fight, did Zane have the ability to be like, nah, man, fuck that. I want to fight this dude who's 30-0 with 30 knockouts? Like, who gets the final say on who you fight, when you fight? Like, how does that work?
You ever seen Rocky V?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
There's a reason that you hire a manager or have a promoter, that you sign with a promoter. You got to trust those folks, and you got to get in there with who they think. Now, does the promoter or manager have to take the fighter's opinion? Absolutely. It's kind of a team effort. I wouldn't say it's probably 60-40, the promoter.
If that fighter really, really wants to fight that fight, or he thinks he's ready to step up and you're not giving him the big fights, you'll probably get that big fight with somebody else.
Yeah. Somebody's always looking to make some money.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. Gentlemen, this is not on our list, but I just saw this shared on 3. LSU is going to, and again, LSU football here, and this is going to be something that's going to be a thing. LSU, I think, is going to roll it out first, but if they do it successfully, everyone's going to do it, and I'm going to ask your thoughts on it because it's kind of icky to me, but if it makes money and it allows them to pay the players and whatever, it is what it is. LSU is planning to sell jersey patch advertisements pending NCAA approval for the upcoming season. So LSU, over the patch or whatever it may be, they would have Zatarain's or Raising Cane's, probably Raising Cane's. That seems like a logical one. Garden McKernan, whatever, like whoever, whenever
DJ Ribs.
Yeah, something like that. They would have that over the patch of the uniform. Now I'll say this. College sports, I think, have some of the most sanctity in their uniforms. I love LSU's white uniforms, clean look. I hate that Brian Kelly never wants to wear these. He always wants purple with white helmets and whatever. A part of me, the old man in me, is not going to like seeing an advertisement on a college football logo, but you know how it works. If LSU does it and they get a $5 million contract, then Alabama is going to be trying to get a $5 million and 1 penny contract from somebody else, and everybody's going to have it. So what are your thoughts as these jerseys are going to become like NASCAR? It's going to become a billboard.
Probably about 10 years ago, we felt the same way about the NBA. And now you see, like, you don't even notice it anymore. It's just part of the uniform. It's just on there, whatever. At first, it was kind of weird. Now it's just part of the uniform.
That's a great point because you're right. It is just part of the uniform. We don't even notice it. But then it leads to a bigger question is if you're a company, like right now, I'm thinking to myself, is there any NBA team that I know their jersey sponsor? And I think the Suns have PayPal, and I think that's the only one that I know. So then my next question would be is as a business, these businesses have billions of dollars. They don't give a shit either way. But as a business, if we have just trained our eyes to not look at the advertisement, then why the hell would you do it, I guess, would be the next part to that question. And I guess the answer would be, well, we got more money than God, so we just don't care.
Yeah, I cannot think of any other advertisement on any other jersey. I know the Knicks have a weird one that I remember seeing in the playoffs, and I remember commenting about it. Pelicans used to have Zatarain's. I'm pretty sure they don't have Zatarain's anymore. Can't tell you what it is. How are sports going towards that and UFC going completely away from that? Because that's what UFC was 10 years ago. And now they just have Reebok trunks and nothing else.
Because UFC is doing that to WWE and taking that money out of the side is all the same as the WWE mat used to be bare. Now that's a billboard. So I think they're just rerouting where they advertise. We got some legal issues that are going on in the world of sports right now. The federal government announced that they are investigating Malik Beasley over gambling. These are just allegations. This is not 100% a thing. He's not been arrested or charged with anything. They're investigating him. There was a video of Malik Beasley in the bubble that looks very damning. And I see you nodding over there. They were, I believe, a 7.5 point dog. Maybe I think it was 6.5. They were down 7. He gets a rebound at the end of a game on a missed free throw with like 4 seconds left and is dead sprinting the NBA Finals Game 7 to go make a layup. And then now you see he's being under investigation for gambling. It just makes you wonder. The allegations talk about money issues between he and his mom, and they got some stuff there. What do you make? Do you think Malik Beasley is throwing some game?
I think we all seen the same videos of the different instances where one time he's guarding Tyrese Halliburton and he just doesn't move, like his controller got stuck or whatever. And
James Harden's done that for years.
Halliburton just drives right by him, gets his over, and then Malik. How could you be playing against somebody? Like I don't believe that one with the Tyrese Halliburton, because if you're guarding Tyrese Halliburton, you're gonna pick the over on him. Like, have some dignity in yourself. Yeah. But the free throw miss, sprint down court dunk to either cover the spread or whatever it was, that's very fishy.
And he was really fucking excited about it too. Okay, I get it. Play till the final whistle, whatever. But like he threw that thing down and like he was excited to lose by 6 instead of by 8 or whatever it was. That just looks a little suspect.
Terry Payton Jr. video too, where he's sitting on the bench and the game's out of hand, whatever, but the spread is like 1 or 2 points off from what the game total is. And he's just sitting there like freaking out, like nervous as hell. And then the other team hits a 3 or whatever. And like his team won and he's all pissed off or whatever. Like, are we getting screwed by all these athletes? Are we betting on these games for nothing because they're just fixing the outcomes of it?
So
that's what the NBA doesn't want us to think. I'm thinking it.
I don't know that there's a whole lot of like, okay, I'm Chris Paul and I'm going to bet all my unders. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot of that. But I do think that there's a lot of, hey, I'm a role player. Like, I'm just thinking of a random role. Eric Garden. Okay, hey, I'm Eric Garden. I got over under 1.5 made threes today. I'm going to tell all my homies I'm just fucking jacking some shots up today. Like, I think that there's some of that, which, again, is not necessarily throwing the game. It's not necessarily changing the outcome. I guess if you shoot a bunch of bad shots, maybe it could be considered changing the outcome. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of that. But in terms of, like, a player saying, okay, well, I'm going to not guard, I'm going to, intentionally lose, whatever. I don't know that there's that. But I do think a lot of those individual player prop over-under things are very heavily skewed. And I'll tell you this, with officials, I think there's a lot of first quarter over under 52.5 points. Okay, we're getting both teams in the bonus. Like, I think there's a shitload of that goes on behind closed doors that we don't see and we'll maybe never see.
I think that's all rigged, and specifically the prop bets. I saw some video of Beasley. He had maybe 3.5 rebounds was his over under. And the first quarter, he is just
crashing,
skying after every rebound. Just knowing it, you have an altered sense. But just seeing that and seeing the effort that he's putting in for a garbage rebound that could have easily hit the floor when nobody else was around, I guess it gives that validity. But when you look and dig deeper into the situation, the dude owes $8 million.
Yes, he does.
That has issues written all over it. And I think the NBA is going to keep this quiet because they don't want the integrity of the game to be ruined. But that has to be going on. Like Pete Rose, what he did in his heyday that he gets chastised for would be A-okay nowadays. And it would just kind of get swept under the rug because you talk about sponsors. You got FanDuel, you got DraftKings that are sponsoring all this stuff, and the league's making a ton of freaking money off of it. So why would they want to talk down one of their cash cows?
But these kids have grown up like watching Pete Rose just get put through the ringer by the MLB.
Yeah.
Like, do you think any NBA player is watching Pete fucking Rose?
But they ask any of these guys who Pete Rose is. I guarantee they could tell you who it is and exactly what his issue is.
If they didn't see him on TikTok, they don't know who the fuck he is.
My question here is, okay, you got Malik Beasley. His rookie contract was 4 years, $7.8 million. His second contract was 4 years, $60 million.
Obviously, have no money.
Right. In the next contract, 1 year, $2.7 million. And last year, 1 year, $6 million. he was due to get a 3-year, $45 million contract from Detroit at the end of the season. That's now on hold. He's made $59.9 million. How the fuck does he owe $8 million? Now, I get that it's like an an IRS type of thing. But like, has he just never paid taxes at all?
He owes $7,000 to $14,000 to his landlord. Like, I could pay that. You need some bucks, Malik? I got you, bro. Just make sure we get on some prop bets together.
I just don't understand. He's made $60 million. He's 28 years old. How could you owe that much? Like, what are you buying? How many drinks are you purchasing? How many cars are you purchasing? How many diamond necklaces or watches are you purchasing to be that much in the hole? Because, dude, $60 million, I don't know that I could spend that in the rest of my life, much less to be owing that to creditors and absolutely unbelievable.
Best in terms of made three-pointers in the NBA this season. Like, this guy's going to be a free agent, I believe, and like,
he's cooked.
He could get paid
somewhere.
Wherever he's going, he's going to get paid. The guy's a good shooter.
Nick, he was going to get a 3-year, $45 million contract before this investment.
Done.
Yeah.
If you don't do this stupid shit.
And he took out a $1.3 million bridge loan before he got to the pros.
Jesus.
He got a judgment against a freaking barbershop that operates in Milwaukee. You got $26,000 worth of haircut.
You're getting your haircut every day? Like,
he owes a dentist $34,000. Did he get his whole grill done?
But again, though, that leads to the greater point. You've made $60 million. Why can't you pay $20,000 or $30,000? I get it. That's wasteful spending. It's probably incredibly wasteful spending. If I have $60 million in my savings account, I could afford to go get veneers for $30,000.
How about this? Pay $1 million to have somebody be your financial advisor. Don't worry about it. Just play basketball. Stop.
Yes.
One of the first Google articles is Matt Barnes is baffled. If you have Matt Barnes baffled,
that's
a big deal.
Matt Barnes is probably making more money now than when he played.
Probably.
Allen Iverson is a great example of this. Allen Iverson is a guy who grew up with nothing. He was making a bunch of money in Philadelphia, and he was making a bunch of money on his shoe deal. You know what Allen Iverson did? He told Adidas whenever he signed his lifetime contract with Adidas, he said, hey, I'm a hood rat. I'm going to probably blow all my money. So, like, just save me 25 or 30 million bucks in this lifetime contract and give it to me when I'm 50 because I'm probably going to be broke. And guess what? It ended up turning out pretty good for Allen Iverson.
Everybody should get the Bobby Bonilla contract.
Yes.
So when you're older and more mature, you got money coming in.
You heard why they structured that the way?
Yes.
There's a Bernie Madoff deal.
Yes.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Matt Barnes commented, now all these little videos are coming up. Hey, he looks bad. That MFer got a rebound and went game 7 speed and dunked the ball when they were down 9. The internet doesn't let you play games.
How could you deny it? The game is over. He gets a rebound on a missed free throw. Everybody else is walking to the locker room. He is dead sprinting to go and dunk the ball. He was obviously on the take, man. Obviously.
Is that something that professional leagues are going to go through eventually?
Continue to sweep it under the rug. That's who pays them.
I'm talking about the Bobby Bonilla contract. So if all these players are coming into the league immature, blowing all their money, will they possibly go to a payment structure where you get this amount of money each year for the next 60 years or whatever?
That's what the Dodgers are doing right now. And there's the reason why they're signing every fucking free agent in MLB. So they're signing Shohei Ohtani to like a 10-year, $500 million contract. In the 10 years, they're going to pay him like $200 million. Then after that, for the rest of his life, they're going to pay him like $3 or $4 million a year. Everybody's saying, oh, that's dirty, that's shady business, whatever it may be. But here's what's going to happen. The Dodgers ownership group right now is going to win 3, 4, 5 world championships. They got a 4, 5, 6 guys under similar deals. Huge dollar amounts. It looks like crazy money. But while they're playing, they're not going to pay them that crazy money. The Dodgers are going to win a bunch of World Series. They're going to drive the price of the franchise up. They're going to sell the team at a huge profit, and then the next owner is going to have to pay all that deferred money.
It's pretty smart.
Oh, yeah, it's genius. It's an unbelievably smart business strategy, but that's exactly what Magic Johnson and his group is going to do. In 10, 12 years, they're going to sell the Dodgers. New owner, hey, you're taking over this amazing franchise, and you're going to have to pay Shohei Ohtani until he's 90.
Damien was talking about the Bobby Bonilla contract. I watched the video today and they explained it. So what they did, they thought the Mets organization thought they were going to make money off this deal. They owed Bobby Bonilla, I think, $6 million. Instead of giving him the full money that they were supposed to give him, they structured a deal where they were going to pay him out. Like, I think it was like after 10 years, $1 million every year for the next 25 years or whatever it was. So in the 35 years, they put the $6 million into a fund with Bernie Madoff. Probably not a great idea looking back on it now, but they envisioned it that they were going to make money off the interest that they invested. And when it all boils down, they were going to make money on this deal from the interest. The money that they were going to be paying them, $1 million a year or whatever, they'd be making more than that. So at the end of it, they would have like made money off the Bobby Bonilla contract.
This happens in every walk of life, not even just in the world of sports. Have you ever, you do a lot of, online business with the shop and everything. Have you ever gotten like a PayPal payment that was on hold? That's them investing your money in this big old pot, getting a couple days of interest and then paying it back to you.
Right.
The whole world is based on people trying to fuck you over and play games with your money.
I watched the whole breakdown of this lady's vacation. She put everything on her credit card. Everything was reserved in advance. It was a Disney World trip. There's videos of her dancing at wherever at Disney World, wherever the child molesters stay. And she disputed every one of the charges.
Oh, damn.
That's the whole issue with all this money. And people just giving anybody credit cards, people with 300 credit scores. Ridiculous.
These athletes are 20 years old, 25 years old. Like when I was that age, I wasn't playing around with millions, but my credit cards, I'd put some stupid shit on my credit cards. And I know the NFL has like a rookie symposium they go to where they teach you how to manage your money and whatever. And it obviously doesn't work that well. That's something that these kids should, when they get drafted, they should probably hire a financial advisor and not try to make their money off a FanDuel.
Now, look, in the NCAA right now, our state legislature, passed a law this last legislative session. NIL money, non-taxable. On the surface, it's like, okay, well, this is this big, really cool, recruiting tool. If a booster wants to give you $10 million, you're getting $10 million cash. You don't owe anything. Which, first and foremost, I think is bullshit, because if somebody pays me $10 million, then I'm going to owe 5 of it to the state. So I think it's bullshit. But secondly, let's be honest here. A big part of that is so that the IRS is not arresting these people later in life, because an 18-year-old with a $5 million NIL deal will not know what the fuck to do. They will not know how to pay their taxes. They will spend every last penny of it. And by the time they're 20, they will be Malik Beasley. They will owe $3 million. They'll be having to sell their soul to FanDuel and to whatever bookie. That's a big part of why they would never admit it, but that's a big part of why they made those NIL payments non-taxable, because they just didn't want to deal with the shit that was going to come out of it.
They're having this many issues. The guy that does the financial portion of the symposium, maybe they should change that guy. Just change who's delivering the message.
We were talking about Disney World for just a second. There was a guy on CNN, so take it for what it's worth. Nick, I know you got a lot of Disney people in the family. The guy on Disney World was not Disney World. The guy on CNN was saying today, if you're an adult and you go to Disney World and you don't bring any kids, you are a weirdo. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I know some adults that love Disney World and go there without the kids.
100%.
And all. I kind of understand, because having a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and an 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old, I understand how annoying it is to go with them, because everybody's crying to do something different, and they all hungry, and they all need to use the bathroom at different times. I get it. You go just you and your wife, it's probably kind of enjoyable.
Why don't you go somewhere else?
Right.
Where there's
but
not
that's
kids.
the other part of this. If I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going somewhere other than Disney. Like I'd never been to Disney before I married Claire. Their whole family is a Disney family. I've been there so many times that I never want to go, and it's always like, well, Luca hasn't gone yet, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to go again.
I will give you guys one exception, or I guess not an exception, one free pass for what you just said. If you've been with the kids a bunch of times and you guys like Disney, like the rides, whatever, you go with the wife or the spouse, whatever, one time. You do it a bunch of times, it does kind of get a little key. Now, I'll say this, as a lifelong video game fan, I would go to Universal right now to go to Mario Land, and I would nerd out the entire week, and I wouldn't feel embarrassed about it at all. I think that that's a little bit of a different deal.
Psychopath.
I am. I'm okay with that.
I actually enjoy Disney more than Universal. Some of those rides at Universal,
I have no interest in anything Universal except I just want to go walk around Mario Land, go to a souvenir shop. I guess it's personal for me. I got a godson who worships Mario.
Give me Guardians of the Galaxy or the new Star Wars ride. I don't even like Star Wars, but that ride is pretty awesome.
So, Damien, psychopath if you go to Disney without kids?
Psychopath. You need to probably be examined.
Okay, fair enough. Psychopath, and you need to be examined if you eat 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever it is. That's what we're going to be seeing on Friday. Joey Chestnut, the greatest athlete in sports history, will be returning to the Nathan's Hot Dog stage. He was banned from the event last year because he had a partnership with Impossible Foods, a rival brand of Nathan's. But Joey Chestnut worked it out. And by the way, Impossible Foods is a green and a non-meat hot dog. Joey Chestnut has worked it out. He will now be back at the hot dog eating competition, minus 2,500 odds to win. His record is 76 in 2021. BetMGM says he ain't going to get there. He's going to get to 71.5 over under. I'll be honest with you. I look forward to this for two reasons. A, it's such a train wreck that I feel like you have to look at it. You can't look away. B, I did meet Joey Chestnut, and I did meet the brothers. I forget the last name of the brothers that run Major League Eating. It's a little personal for me, but I am going to be watching. I don't think he's going to break the record. I don't think he has to. No one could get even close to him. But it is kind of cool to see Joey Chestnut back. It wasn't the same last year without him.
When you did meet him, he was in La Rose for the World Gumbo Eating Competition, and he still holds that record. That is 15 bowls of gumbo in 8 minutes.
He told me...
I would collapse.
I did that for Thanksgiving.
He told me after that, because he came on the Sports Corner at like 10:30. The competition wasn't until like 2. He was hanging around. You know, he gets himself psyched out, does like some stretches and stuff. You got to condition your body to be able to do this without dying. But he did tell me after, and he knew me, and I said, hey, how you feeling, boss? And he said that the gumbo was one of the more difficult things that he had to do because of the rice. He said, man, I kept feeling like I was choking on the rice. So I felt like I couldn't breathe. But he did say that the gumbo kind of kicked his ass. He thought he was going to be able to do 20 plus, but he kept having to stop because of the rice.
So let me ask you this.
To stop because he probably had the shit.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned the competition that automatically triggered in my head. How was the competition there? Were there other Major League Eating folks, or was it just like Rufus from down the bayou?
No. Your boy Badlands Booker was there. Yeah, like the whole crew was there. He didn't win by a lot. There was a guy who I think had 13. Like he had to pull away at the end. But the way it works with them is it's similar to like Book and Mustang Mike and them. Like when you call Major League Eating, the crew comes. The two brothers that run the event, the one brother that wears the top hat on 4th of July, is a freestyle rapper. Google that. So like he does like an hour of a concert before the show. Like they make an event out of it. Now they do have a couple of locals. So there was like Jojo Billiot who was on the stage, puking after eating 2 bowls. But by and large, it's their roster that shows up. And I guess it's part of the thing. Like you probably pay them whatever to show up, and then they distribute that as an appearance fee to all their different eaters.
That's pretty neat. I didn't realize it was a all for one type of deal. I kind of regret not going, but I didn't go because of the place that it was held.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, we're good. We're okay now, but back then it was.
So you're telling me that there's a good chance the Group Chat podcast is going to host a Major League Eating contest.
You see my wheels spinning, Nick?
Yes.
Yeah, we get the whole crew, dude.
Sponsored by Better Call Botto, down the bayou Major League Eating.
Griot eating competition.
Yeah. Oh, bless your hearts, and bouillie eating competition.
Bone all like Guini spaghetti a lot, too.
If you're looking for some entertainment, aside from watching us on Wednesday nights and whenever our edited stuff goes out, now that baseball is pretty much, and crappy soccer is the only thing on TV. Casey mentioned Badlands Booker. He has a TikTok account or a YouTube account as well called Badlands Chugs. This dude drinks everything out of a boot, and it is entertaining as all hell.
As a person who has had kidney stones before, I don't know how the hell they do. But yeah, you're right. He drinks like gallons of stuff at a time. We could debate and discuss, and there are a lot of people, oh, man, that's gross. And you do have to condition your body to do this. And you look at the people on the stage. Yes, some of them are 400-pound people who have never lifted a weight in their life. But Kobayashi and Joey Chestnut are actually like pretty physically fit. So it is.
Joey Chestnut kind of got a dad bod.
Yeah, he's getting up there now.
But getting back to the actual event, it is gross. It's hard to watch, but it's something that you just have to watch. It's become a part of my 4th of July routine. Seeing those guys compete, the ladies compete, people sitting in like the puke row, like you need a tarp on you to not get puked on. Like that whole thing's pretty cool. And if people actually spent money during barbecues and actually cooked the Nathans, dude, I would eat a lot more.
Let me tell you what.
Good stuff.
That is a good hot dog. Like if you want to go to Walmart, Rouse's, IGA, wherever, and get you a hot dog for 4th of July, like they said, it's going to be a little more expensive, but it's going to taste really good. The Nathan's brand is legit.
So Nathan's, pronouns, pal, sell frozen like pretzel dogs or like corn dogs and stuff. That's tremendous as well.
I could imagine that would be very good. I wonder where and who it was that invented like you dip the bun in the water, you eat that first. When did we stop doing, hey, the hot dog's on the bun? Like, who's the inventor? Like college football, Bill Walsh invented, like the shotgun or the West Coast offense, whatever it may be. Like, who's the eater that decided, hey, why don't we like just do it one at a time? Eat all the buns first, eat all the wieners after. Like, they're an icon because everybody does it that way now.
I can imagine early days of the hot dog eating contest, the guys would put a little mustard on their dog and eat it. And then somebody just came with a cup of water and just started dipping shit in his water and just shoving it into his mouth. And they were like, this is the GOAT.
Yeah.
We're witnessing history. This is the GOAT.
All right. So 4th of July conversation, in case you don't look at my screen.
Oh, sorry.
For a 50-pack of Nathan's hot dogs, under $109.99.
I want to say it sounds about right. So I'm going to say slightly over.
I'd say slightly under.
It is $111.63 from our local Walmart.
Wow. It's steep, but let me tell you, that's a damn good hot dog now.
$4.97 for the regular man's version of the glizzy. The fact that Joey Chestnut ate that huge Fat Boy's pizza in under 30 seconds is impressive. So actually,
under 30 seconds?
I've actually been to the location that he broke the record at.
That's insane.
That pizza slice is humongous.
That is insane. I didn't know that he did that.
That slice.
I think their challenge is a big one slice in under 5 minutes, I think, and he beat it in 28 seconds.
Golly, that's ridiculous, man. Like, I'm just trying to think how my body would feel if oh my God. I got a bone to pick with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They
red hot Pittsburgh Pirates.
Absolutely red hot. Won 6 in a row. In that 6-game winning streak, in 5 of the 6 games, they have scored. Let's do some loose math. They've scored 42 runs in 4 of the 5 games of their 6-game win streak. When Paul Skeens pitched, they scored fucking 1. Yeah, Paul Skeens and the Pirates did win yesterday. Skeens wasn't able to get a win despite pitching 5 shutout innings. Only threw 88 pitches. Why the fuck they took him out after 5 innings, I don't know. Skeens now has an ERA of 2.03. Oh, so he must be 10-1, right? He's 4-7 with a 2.03 ERA. They're scoring 10 runs every single time they play for the last 2 weeks, except when Paul Skeens pitches. They score nothing. We cannot get this motherfucker out of Pittsburgh fast enough. Look, it's bad enough that I have to watch Joe Burrow get killed every Sunday behind the Bengals offensive line, which they're never going to fix. Now I have to watch Paul Skeens pitch for these guys who haven't been relevant since Sid Bream slid in safe at home and beat them in Game 7 of the NLCS in 1992. We got to get him out of here. Got to save our guy.
I think you're going to get your wish soon. They're not going to pay him.
No, they're not. And I think that they know that. But they better make a move quick because here's the thing. He throws 100. He's going to get 1 Tommy John surgery at least. You better do it quick.
Sell some more hats.
To Lockport.
Lockport hats. Pirates are smoking hot, though. They won 6 in a row. I'm sure their next game's the 4th of July against Seattle. Sure, they'll win that 32-1. Then, the next time Skeens pitches is going to be 0-0 in the bottom of the 18th, and they're going to be trying to grind one out. Congratulations to Nick, by the way, as we shift gears. Nick won our dad draft.
Oh, he switched the note, too.
Added to that.
History is told by the ones who win, Damien.
I'm going to revoke his access.
Nick dominates, according to my notes, gets 34% of the vote. Let me go ahead and read this like Nick. Tommy had 9% of the vote. Casey with 26% of the vote. Damien, 30% of the vote. And Nick, with 34% of the vote, is our dad draft champion.
Shout out to my campaign manager, Aaron Guidros. If you're watching, man, I appreciate you.
That was
sounded like Bruce Buffer right there.
And now.
So the original title to that note was Nick scams his way to victory.
Which is way more accurate than...
There's no scamming needed. If you just pick Bandit Healer from
That's
Blue
why you go to Disney World without kids.
I do think it's very profound and now is becoming a trend that when we have competitions that involve voting, Tommy will finish last decisively in every single one of them. And the only people who will vote for Tommy is like his wife, his mom, his brothers, and sometimes not even his brothers.
I was about to say, I don't think his brother voted for him.
Blake did. I did.
Tommy's struggling, man. We got to get him on the train. Look, he shares it. He tries to get some social media interaction.
He can't even get the New Orleans vote. He shares to his groups in New Orleans and they vote for us.
Oh, it's easy to pick on him when he's not here. Congratulations to Mr. Nick Hebert. We will probably be doing some similar, voting and drafts and everything of this sort. You guys know how it works.
I got to give him a face of the day.
Baby face of the day?
Baby face of the day.
All right, what you got?
Whoever fills the coolers at Tidelands Country Club, A+ job. I didn't realize those were kept up to date with ice and ice cold water in them. Saved my ass today. It was hot.
Oh, yeah. Anybody out there that is working daily in like the outdoors, God bless you. I walked from the beginning of Truck's driveway to his front door today at radio and was sweating already, like 30 steps. So for these people out there, they're doing carpentry or whatever it may be, my God, I don't know how they do it.
Are these dudes that just go play golf randomly during the day in 100-degree weather? I'll pick the worst time to start playing golf. If y'all would start in the fall,
you would not show up.
I would probably go with y'all. I went and played 3 weeks of y'all. I'm still fucking sunburned.
Oh, I got a good tan. Like a really good tan. If I would show y'all my feet, which would be even weirder than people going to Disney, that would be some funny stuff because I'm very, very white.
Whenever I was real big into practicing and going hit at the park and everything, I get you. Yep. Casper feet, tan leg. Yep. I know exactly what you're cooking.
It's really not. If you get on a golf cart, the wind hits you, and you wear dry fit type of clothes, so it's not that bad.
I am with you though, Nick. Whenever it is the fall, I will be inclined, and that is when I'm probably going to get my membership. Because look, dude, I don't do shit. And with the Bayou Sports thing, that kind of runs itself now, and radio gets done at 2, and like I really don't do a whole lot. So I would have the liberty if it were 70 degrees, like just go play golf every day. That may be in the cards.
The cool thing about it is there's no time frame. Like you don't have to be there at 8 o'clock. You don't have to be there at 5 o'clock. If you got some time to burn, you want to go get a couple swings, and you just head on over.
I am still petitioning. Somebody with a tract of land's got to get us a driving range, man, because that's the one thing. And I love Tidelands. I love everything that they're doing. But if there would just be a place to just go hit on the bayou, I know Thailand don't have the property to do it. Maybe that if they would own like the pastures or something on the side, they could build something there. But I would love for there to be a range. Just go work on some stuff. I would be in that place constantly.
So by the end of the summer or end of the year, I'm not sure what the communication said, but they already had a little practice area and where the tennis courts used to be, which was before my time. They are actually putting in like a chipping range type of place.
Legit.
They're going to have a putting range. They already resodded the area to mimic the greens. I'm sure the driving range may be in the thought process, but there are definitely some revamps going on in the club right now.
I'm extremely happy to hear that, and I'm also extremely happy to shout out Buddy Fonseca and Jude LaBeouf, who are playing on the Kelly Gibson Amateur Tour over the summer. And every weekend that they post the results, they're either finishing first, second, third. They're winning a medal, winning a trophy. We got 2 really, really good amateur golfers in our area. Jude is going to Loyola. Buddy is going to have college opportunities at the end of this season. And that's really, really cool, man. Like when we think of signees, the first thing that we think of is the college football player who has all the hats on the table and they're spinning Nick's little wheel and they're deciding where they want to go to school. Sometimes their mom's not happy about it and walks off the stage. Like, that's what we think of when we think of a signing. We forget those student athletes who go play small sports like golf or, volleyball, softball, whatever it may be, track and field. We got one who's a signee and another who's about to be a signee. Keep kicking ass, boys. That's awesome.
Buddy was playing behind us, and we let him play through because he was playing by himself, and he's damn good, man. He's solid. He hit a shot that I could only dream of making, and I tell you what old buddy Fonseca was a hell of a basketball player.
Absolutely.
Was one of my most favorite kids to ever coach. If you told that dude to run through 5 brick walls, he's going to try to run through 6.
To piss off somebody on the other team.
and dude, I really think that that's one of the things that makes him such a good golfer is like, shit ain't going to bother him. Golf is such a mental sport. He hits a bad shot, like, ain't going to phase him. He's so level-headed.
Oh, and you got Du Fonseca as a father that I'm sure cuts him no slack. Golf's probably the easiest thing he's got going on for the day.
So Tommy sent a video of Brandon Jacobs working out with his kid. And the first thing that you notice is that Brandon Jacobs is still an animal because he's like spiking this medicine ball. And then you realize that the guy to the left of Brandon Jacobs is like a foot taller than him and weighs like 360 pounds of steel. Omas over here is Brandon Jacobs' son. Brandon Jacobs, remember, was an NFL running back like 6'4", 240. How big is that dude who's working out with him? He's obviously 3 or 4 inches taller.
Where does he go to school?
Clemson. Blocking for Klubnik in the opener. But, dude, I saw that. That dude is ridiculous. That's got to be 6'8", 6'9",
6'7", 320, Braden Jacobs.
That's insane, man. Absolutely insane. Freshman?
Hopefully. So you don't get off the bench.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to see him at any time. So he's offensive tackle, by the way.
First line of 24/7 says he is a large human. Way to be accurate in your reporting.
From Milton, Georgia, he was a 4-star prospect, 18 years old. So yeah, he's a true freshman.
Committed 2024,
yeah.
Class of 25. Wow.
Yeah, lovely. We're going to probably be seeing him on the field at some point when the Tigers take on Clemson out there in South Carolina. I think we could jump into Damien's portion, which is our Stars and Stripes edition. We've got some 4th of July themed stuff. And we got some different things, Mr. St. Pierre.
5 quick questions. Stars and Stripes Q&A edition with the Group Chat Podcast. Which pro wrestler had the most patriotic gimmick? Who's taking Hacksaw? Because I got somebody.
I'm not. I'm taking the Patriot. I mean, who's more patriotic than the fucking Patriot?
So that you just named my 2 guys that I'm talking about here. Like I'd say Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Ho!
Nothing about Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the name, says this guy is going to be the most patriotic motherfucker in wrestling. He was more patriotic than a guy called the Patriot who dressed in red, white, and blue and won like flag on a pole matches against Canada.
My favorite commentator line of all time in professional wrestling, Survivor Series 1989, Jesse Ventura commentating on Hacksaw's team. Well, of course they're going to get out the ring. Monsoon, they're coming in the ring with boards. Thanks, Jesse.
I tell you what, there have been some bad patriotic gimmicks like Lex Luger in 93, 94, whatever. Like there have been some guys who tried it and it didn't work. I'm going the Patriot though.
So I got Hulk Hogan's Mr. America gimmick. That was a solid ass.
So like mask and everything with Vince.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know.
That's what the dirt sheet say. Second question: songs to hear on a 4th of July playlist. What song do you want to hear while the fireworks are going off, while the barbecue's going down? What's on your list?
There's one for me always, and it's for a couple of reasons. A, because of I think it's a great song, and then B, because he's a big MAGA American. Lee Greenwood, he performed at both inaugurations, 2016 and 2024. He is a Republican, but he also has said, hey, look, I'm just an American. I'd perform at every inauguration if you wanted me to. Loves America, loved the song. Lee Greenwood, God bless the USA.
Nick, if you say some Queen song, I'm unplugging them.
No, we're going anything from Creed or Kid Rock. Kid Rock, we got American Badass, Born Free, We the People. Nothing says America more than Kid Rock.
Lee Greenwood, obvious answer, but not to go with Casey. So Ray Charles's version, of America the Beautiful. That is awesome. They played it in Sandlot in the night game. George Foreman's son walked out to it for a couple of his fights. That song just freaking hits, man.
You know what? With the American theme, too, while we're on the Hulk Hogan thing, I mean, Hulk Hogan Real American is pretty legit, too, now. That's one that's
on my 18-hole playlist.
Is it?
I played 18 holes with y'all. You're going to need a lot more songs than
No, no, bitch. Listen, 18th hole.
Oh, 18th
okay,
hole.
okay.
Oh, okay. I heard 18 holes, too, but okay, 18th hole. I got you.
So when you walk up to the green, Real American cranks up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I don't know that there's anything better in sports, and this is a little bit off topic, than when Bebe would get off the LSU bus and walk down Victory Hill to Born on the Bayou. That was so cool. That was legit. That's the best sports entrance to me.
If a state was a person at a 4th of July cookout, what would they bring?
All right, California would bring the coleslaw, but California's fucking stupid.
So I went legit on this one. Texas barbecue. There's a lot of other states that claim to have really good barbecue. Nothing beats that, and that's one of the few reasons to visit the state of Texas.
I'd say Washington State bringing the heroin.
So very similar to me with the California. Okay.
Maybe
Like
we're
with
not
stealing.
going to your house for 4th of July. All right, last question. If you had to start a barbecue team made of 3 professional athletes, so you got to break this down. Who's on the grill, who's seasoning the meat, and who's hyping up the crowd? Easy answer on the grill, George Foreman.
Hey,
Even though he passed away.
That's a great answer.
dude's just got a little George Foreman grill and he's cooking everything
Yeah.
in that little thing.
That's a great
I
answer.
wouldn't be mad at that. Jose Alvarado is doing my seasoning. We'll stereotype. Those dudes know how to season. And my hype man is going to be Jake Paul, because even if it's mid, you're still going to have the hype surrounding your meal.
I was thinking Logan Paul for hype, so I'll go there.
Okay, on the grill, I got the Sheriff Peyton Manning. I just have a feeling that dude is very good on a grill.
Because his head's huge.
Yeah. That's one of the main attributes of a good chef is having a huge head. Seasoning the meat, give me Jameis Winston. Because he's going to be like, fuck it, meat down there somewhere and just like spreading all kind of seasoning all over the place. Hyping the crowd, I got Coach Prawn. Even if your barbecue sucks, this guy's going to make it seem like this is the most amazing barbecue ever. TV's going to be there. All your barbecues are going to be on TV, even though you go 7-6 on the season.
And your barbecue slides to the 5th round.
I'm going butterbean to season. Look like you could throw down some stuff. I just get the feeling that John Crook knows how to barbecue him a steak.
Ooh, that's a solid answer.
I'm going to go with John Crook. Old fat baseball player. Just looks like he could throw down a couple of grillades on a grill. That's where I'm going. Logan Paul, and boy, that's an interesting crew to hang out with. Butterbean, Logan Paul, and John Crook. Jesus Christ, they're going to be fighting each other before the meal's even finished.
Speaking of barbecue, Nick, what were you eating at your house Friday?
Hey, we haven't figured that part out yet.
Oh,
My planning for that is about to start.
I don't know where I'd put him, but John Daly would need to be on my team too. He, honorable mention, sub on my team.
I feel like he's a seasoned guy. He probably got some kind of family recipe, smoking a cig while making his little sauce for the grillades. Oh, yeah.
Whatever the Hooters recipe is for whatever he's cooking, that's what he's going with.
Want to thank everybody today. I think this is one of our better episodes. I really do. We covered a lot of different stuff. We talked about the world of boxing. We talked about the hot dog eating competition. We talked about a lot of different shit today, and I think it was a good show. We're going to get this edited and posted, but for everybody who's been watching it live, we appreciate you guys so very much. As Nick said, though, give us a like, give us a share, let everybody know, because what that does is that allows us to show up higher on news feeds and everything like that, and then that allows us to reach more people. So,
Hey,
for
Nicole, can you close out in the British accent again?
yeah, absolutely.
Podcast.
So for everyone listening to, I don't even know if that's a British accent. Good day, mates. For everyone who is listening to us on the Facebook Lives, Happy Independence Day. This is the Group Chat Podcast for Nick Hebert and Damien St. Pierre. This is Casey Gisclair signing off.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's solid. I think you went Arab for a little bit. But
Yes, I don't know why that's not European at all. That was
Fucking
definitely
red
Indian.
You are listening to the Group Chat Podcast.